Right, what's up guys, JJ Victors here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new to the channel, welcome, and whilst you're here, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and give the video a big fat thumbs up. So in my last video, I actually made quite a bold statement that I would be confident that I could do 2 days of meal prep in less than 30 minutes. So I've decided today I'm going to put my money where my mouth is, and I'm going to try and prep 2 full days, which is about 12 meals in total. I'm going to see if I can do it in 30 minutes, because I always find that people's biggest barrier to meal prep is time. So I'm going to show you that it can be done, but bear in mind I'm highly skilled when it comes to the art of meal prep. So let's go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the stopwatch for you guys now, so you can see in real time me trying to do this, and then we're going to get cracking and see if I can do it. On your marks, get set, bake. Right, stopwatch on. So I'm going to start off with my chicken. So what I always do is when I buy my chicken in bulk, I literally portion it all out. So there's 1.1 kilograms there, which will give me just over 800 grams cooked. So that is enough for 4 meals. So literally I just freeze it, take out the bag, dump it in the bowl, and you're good to go. Okay. So seasoning of choice at the moment is what I've pretty much used for the last couple of years, excuse me. So it is this tandoori masala one. It's actually really nice to be fair, it's not too strong flavoured. It's also got 0 sugar in it as well, so mix that in, nothing fancy. Okay. So you're going to get this in the oven first, because this actually takes the longest. Alexa, set timer for 18 minutes.
18 minutes, starting now.
So usually chicken, when it's diced up, takes about 18 minutes. So the next thing that takes a while to cook is the rice. And as you can see, I actually cook rice. I don't use that old El Paso crap that comes in the bags, because it's so expensive. Literally buy a big, massive 5-10 kilo bag. Usually if you go down the international aisle at Sainsbury's or wherever you shop, normally you get the giant bags of it, and it's so much cheaper. You will save yourselves an absolute fortune. So rice, I'm going for, I need 460 grams of rice. That's right, 460 grams. Dun, 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 dun. Perfect. Right, so add the water. So what I almost try and do is do like 1 part rice and then 2 parts water. But again, I'm pretty good at eyeballing it, so that's probably about right for that. I'm going to stick that on the hob, like so. So when it comes to cooking rice, what I'll tend to do is I'll stick the heat up all the way, and then once then the water starts boiling, turn the heat down to the lowest setting it'll go, and then just let it cook really slowly. Then once all the water is gone out of the pan, turn the heat off, stick the lid on, and then the steam will continue to cook it. Leave it for about kind of just under 10 minutes. Perfect rice. Better than that Uncle Ben's crap. Right, so rice is on, chicken's on. So that's my chicken and rice meals sorted. So next meals are beef and potatoes. So what I use is these, I can't even juggle, is these McCain's frozen jacket potatoes. So they literally go in the microwave about 5 minutes and jobs are good in. Right, I'll be back in a second. Back. Right, so spuds are in. Next thing that I'm going to do the steaks in a minute. So, breakfast. So I've actually already eaten breakfast for today. So these will be my meals for today and tomorrow. So what I'm going to do is show you how I'm going to do my breakfast for tomorrow. So what I do, meal number 1 is 120 grams of porridge oats. So I'm going to get that ready. 120 grams. Perfect. A little bit of cinnamon, just because I love the taste of cinnamon. No other reason than that. Add in some water, like so. Gonna use finless fork. Then I'm gonna mix that up. Two scoops of whey protein. So again, Dymatize ISO 100 protein is by far the nicest tasting protein on the market. And I literally recommend this product to everybody. The Dymatize need to hurry up and reach out and sponsor me, because I get them a hell of a lot of business. Right, put that away. So that's going to mix the protein up with the oats. So when it comes to doing the overnight oats, when you're adding the water, just try and add in a little bit more than you usually would, just because then it helps when you mix the protein up. And then as you can see, once the protein gets mixed in, it starts to thicken up a little bit, like so. Okay. Beautiful. Right, so what we're going to do next is add in these frozen blueberries. So I actually prefer the taste of frozen blueberries rather than the fresh ones that you get. But I actually believe that the frozen stuff is probably more fresh than the actual fresh stuff that you get in the supermarkets, because literally as soon as they are pulled from the tree, the blueberries grow on trees. I don't know. Do blueberries grow on trees? They do?
No.
No, where do they grow? Does anybody know how blueberries are grown? Anyway, I digress. But if you do know, let me know. So I have no idea how blueberries are grown. But anyway, wherever they come from, they're frozen straight away. So it keeps the freshness in. I think that's why they taste so much better. So mix the blueberries in, like so. Beautiful. And that's breakfast done. And literally, all I'll do, stick a lid on it, throw it in the fridge, and that is literally ready to go in the morning. I also have a banana with that as well, so I'll throw a banana in with that. But that is breakfast done for tomorrow. Blueberries back. Right, we're rocking and rolling. What's next? Right, so as today is a training day, I'm going to do my post-workout meal next, get that all ready. So, post-workout meal, 100 grams of Cocoa Rice Pops. Can't afford the actual real Cocoa Pops. I need to get more subscribers until I can start affording the expensive stuff. So I go for the cheap Cocoa Rice Pops. But it's by Sainsbury's, so that's pretty bougie. Right, 100 grams of that. Dun, dun, dun. Need a bigger bowl soon. There you go. 100 grams of Cocoa Pops. And then I will also have that with a protein shake post-workout. Literally the children steal all my protein shakers, so I'm left with this one. So, put 2 scoops of protein in that right there, post-workout. Right, so as I mentioned, as you can see now that the water started to boil, so what I will do is I'll turn that down to a low heat. So literally I'll just let that cook there on a really low heat. Then once all the water's actually gone, then we'll put the lid on it, let it steam, and that is your trick to perfect rice. Right, so whilst I'm waiting for that to cook, I'm actually going to get my pre-workout meal prepped as well. So pre-workout meal is, again, 100 grams of porridge oats. Oh, overspilled. Perfect. So 100 grams of porridge oats pre-workout, and then what we have with that is, again, 50 grams of whey protein. So what I actually do is actually cook this meal. So I'll cook this just before I'm about to train. So I usually have my pre-workout meal about about 45 minutes to an hour before I train. It depends on what I train. So I'll have this just before then. So what I will do is I'll leave that, just the oats in there, add the water in, throw it in the microwave, add in the protein, and I usually have that meal hot, whereas my breakfast I have it cold. Just a bit of variety in there. So that's pretty much my pre-workout meal done. I also have 2 cookies with my pre-workout meal, which again, dead easy, takes no prepping whatsoever. So we're rocking and rolling so far. So I've just heard that the spuds have beeped at me, which is good. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to get the steaks on. So we're just going to let the pan heat up on there. So I've got the steaks. Where's my oil? So I just use this Fairlight butter. Normally I'd use like the extra virgin one, but I've ran out of that, so I'm just going to use this Fairlight. So I actually oil the meat. Apparently you should never oil the pan, you always have to oil your meat. I've no idea why. So meat is oiled, just waiting for that pan to heat up, and then once that's done we'll get the steaks on. Alexa, how long's left on the timer please? Right, so just going to give that chicken a bit of a stir. Right, time check, so 14 minutes in and we are doing good. So what I do on my steak is I just add a little bit of this chili and garlic seasoning onto that. Perfect. Right. I think it's time to toss my meat. If you pardon the pun. Beautiful. Right, just going to go and grab those spuds out of the microwave. Right, so this is going to be for my beef meals here, so this will be for today and tomorrow. So, spud in there. Cut them open. I literally add salt onto every single one of my meals. So normally I do about kind of 6 grinds, which is normally a good amount of salt and sodium per meal. Do not be afraid of sodium. It has many benefits. So when people say that salt is bad for you, it is if you excessively use it. However, there's lots of benefits to adding sodium to meals, so don't be afraid to add salt to your meals. Steaks are looking good. We're chilled. Look, I'm literally not even breaking a sweat. Like, we're literally nearly done. And what, it was like 15 minutes on the timer, so it actually isn't that difficult to meal prep. Once you kind of get your routine and once you get your kind of system in order, you know what takes the longest, you cook that first and then kind of fill that time whilst it's cooking with doing like your breakfast, your pre, your post workout meals. It's actually dead simple and it can be done in half an hour. I'm going to prove it to you. I'm going to prove it. Right, so the steaks are done. So I'm literally going to throw the steaks in there. Beautiful. So that's 2 meals done. 200 grams of steak, 200 grams of potato. Absolutely beautiful.
What'd you do with the fat?
I cut it off.
Ah!
Cut the fat off. We don't have the fat. But if you cook your so what I do is I actually cut the fat off the steak. So normally I do reheat it if I'm at home. So what I'll do is I'll cut it up with some scissors. I cut the fat off it. But I find that if you actually cook the steak without the fat on it, you lose all the flavour. So when you're cooking your steak, try and make sure you leave the fat on. Just adds that flavour to it. And then when you're eating it, cut it off, because who wants to eat like steak fat? It is gross. So top tip there to get the best taste out of your meat. Everyone likes tasty meat, right? Okay. This is easy. Time check. 18 minutes. Easy. Alexa, how long's left on the timer?
You have 50 seconds left on your 18 minutes.
Beautiful. Right, so just going to get my pot ready now for my chicken and rice meals. Right, so as you can see, now that it's kind of steamed through, you are left with what can only really be described as like perfect rice. Like, that's absolutely beautiful. Tastes better than Uncle Ben's. I'm hating on Uncle Ben's, aren't I? I get it. So it tastes better than Uncle Ben's, and it's a lot cheaper than Uncle Ben's. So no excuses now, so I've just taught you all how to cook the perfect rice. So with these meals, I have 130 grams of rice in one of them and 100 grams of rice in the other. But as it's kind of off season, I just eyeball it. If one of them's slightly over and one of them's slightly under, it really isn't going to make a huge amount of difference because my daily food intake is still exactly the same. Right, rice done. Oh, Alexa, off. That is cue that the chicken is ready. Right, so chicken is all done, so I'm just gonna season my rice. This grinder's not very good.
How long do you think you've been meal prepping for?
11 years. But when I first started meal prep, I was terrible. So I'd cook my chicken would be done. I'd then cook my rice would be done. I'd like cook then my meat and my meat. I'd cook my beef and my beef would be done. So I'd literally kind of do one thing at a time. I couldn't multitask, whereas now, because I've been doing it so long, I've kind of learnt that art of multitasking. And also the older you get, the more responsibility you have. You know, full-time job, kids. I don't have the time to necessarily cook all of my meals fresh. So that's why I always just cook 2 days at once, and then I'm not spending every minute of every day in the kitchen. Obviously now my life has changed, so I am working from home now, so I do have the ability to cook my meals fresh, but honestly, people don't like reheating food. I don't really care. I've eaten cold, reheated food for the past 10 years. It makes zero difference to me whatsoever. You know, it's just fuel at the end of the day. I hate saying food is fuel because it's a cheesy saying, but it's so true. Like, ketchup makes any meal taste good. So it doesn't really make a difference if it's hot, cold, fresh, a day old, ketchup tastes banging. Right, so the chicken is done. So what I do is I actually like to cut up my chicken into small little pieces. So even though I kind of like pre-dice it before I cook it, I just like to cut it up into really small pieces. Just makes it easier to eat. Just again, if you are out and about and I've got to eat a meal in the car, I don't want to be messing around with a knife and fork. So I literally just eat it with a fork or a spoon, whatever you prefer. And when it comes to kind of eating food and chewing food, it makes it a lot easier to chew if it's cut up really small, because when it comes to digestion, you know, the more you chew your food, the easier it is to digest. So, you know, even if you're really hungry and you're kind of throwing food down your face, I'd always advise to make sure that you chew your food well. Sound like one of those whinging parents, but chew your food well because it makes it significantly easier to digest. And especially when you're in the off season, you're eating more food, you know, digestion is key. So any little tip that you can do to support digestion, support you being able to consume more food to grow, then do it for sure. Right, I think that's cut up nice and small. So I do actually weigh out my chicken, okay? So I make sure that I've got 200 grams because I might overshoot it and it might actually be more than 800 grams here. It's usually always quite consistent, but it can sometimes vary a little bit. So I like to weigh out my chicken. So I literally get 200 grams of this per meal. Overshot it. Boom, 200 on the dot. So like I said, this is kind of 1.1 kilos of uncooked, and it should give me about 800 grams of cooked. So it does go to show how much you do actually lose in your chicken when you cook it. And again, this is from the butchers as well, so it's not low quality chicken. It is the best quality chicken, in my opinion, that you can get. Shout out to AP Meats, my sponsor, who hooked me up with all of my meat. Perfect. One more. It's only bodybuilders that can like understand the true satisfaction you get when you're trying to weigh something. You're trying to get 200 grams, and it literally just finishes bang on 200 grams. It's, for whatever reason, it's extremely satisfying. Now that's 209. That's frustrating. Bang on 200. So as you can see, I've still got a little bit of chicken left over. I won't throw it away. I'm from the north, we don't throw anything away, we are tight. So guess what Finley's having for his tea? Chicken. He has a better diet than me, to be fair. Right, so put that aside. Turn the oven off. So, we have got, I have 2 chicken meals a day, like so. And then we have got our beef and potato meal. I've got breakfast for tomorrow. I've got pre-workout, post-workout, intra-workout. So that's 2 days of meals, all prepped. I've even had time to have a chat with you guys, and 26 minutes, 38 seconds, drop the mic. Who is the daddy of meal prep? Me. That's who. Right, so hope you guys enjoyed that video. Hope it's an insight, because people will know, especially my clients, that I do not deal with excuses very well. There's always a solution to every excuse, and I've just provided the perfect solution. When you say you haven't got time to meal prep, yes you do. If you haven't got 26 minutes of your day to focus on your nutrition for the following 2 days, then I don't believe it. So I guarantee you have 26 minutes to sit on your mobile phone, sit and watch TV, do whatever, but just make sure your nutrition's on point. So subscribe to the video, guys, give it a thumbs up. Until next time, peace.